What's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's time for my official prediction for Alex Pereira versus Jiří Procházka going down Saturday night at UFC 303. Shit, I can't wait for this fight, man. It's going to be so good. But before we jump into the prediction, real quick, help me get to 1,000 subscribers. I am from here on out going to be posting every other day. Every other day on this account, there will be a post at the minimum. Shit, I might as well double up sometimes and post back-to-back days, maybe 3 times or 3 in a row. You know what I'm saying? But subscribe. I'm going to start grinding on here. But let's just jump right into the video. Alex Pereira versus Jiří Procházka. This is an incredible fight, man. I'm so excited for this. Before the first fight even happened, and before it was even booked, I was like, this is one of the most intriguing matchups the UFC could put on right now. And we got it. And Alex Pereira got it done by second round TKO. You could argue it was an early stoppage. You could make the argument, sure, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. But now we're finally getting the rematch on short notice because Conor McGregor is probably never going to fight ever again in the UFC. We're getting this fight on short notice. Yeah, I wish it was on full camps because I think both guys can make tweaks to their last performance and their style, you could say. But it is what it is. It kind of makes this fight a little bit more intriguing that it's on short notice. But talking about their last performances, both guys did fight on UFC 300. It's kind of crazy how they both headlined Madison Square Garden, and then UFC 300 comes around and Yuri's on the damn prelims, and Alex is headlining. But Alex got it done over Jamal Hill, first round KO. Absolutely shat on Jamal Hill. It was an embarrassing performance from Jamal Hill. He's trying to make excuses now. My dog's barking. I apologize if you hear that, but Jamal Hill's making excuses now about how, the stoppage was wrong. I hit him in the dick, and then, fucking Herb Dean should have let us go. I don't even care. Alex destroyed him in the first round, so he wasn't really in the octagon for that long. And then Jiří Procházka, gets it done over fucking... How am I forgetting who he fought? This is really bad. I'm literally recording a video. I didn't forget. It's Alexander Rakic. I just brain fart, forgot the name. Went through a little bit of a war with Rakic. Rakic was low-key beating his ass, but Jiří comes in and gets it done by TKO. And you can make the argument that it's kind of good that Jiří went through like a longer, harder fight when coming into this fight on short notice compared to Alex, who was only in there for less than a round. So it's interesting. Who do you guys think has the advantage in terms of coming into this fight on short notice? Do you have Alex? Do you have Jiří? Put it in the comments. I feel like both guys have pros and cons because Alex, I feel like, has less things to tweak coming into short notice because he obviously won the last fight. And then Jiří, because he's the underdog, maybe the short notice fight helps him in a little bit. But let's get into the prediction. The last fight, I perfectly predicted Alex Pereira to win by KO. You could check it out on my YouTube. But I feel like it is a little bit different. I feel like, and I don't even feel like, I think and I know, Jiří Procházka is going to get it done, guys. Jiří Procházka is going to win this fight by KO. However, if he doesn't tweak small things in his game, Alex is going to win. But I have to believe Jiří is going to tweak some things because if you lose the first fight to Alex and then you come into the second fight and don't really change your game at all and don't make improvements, what the fuck are we doing? But I am picking Jiří Procházka by third round KO. I think his style gives Alex Pereira a lot of problems. Jiří Procházka has a lot of strong forward movement and pressure. He can blast the 1-2. He's super powerful. He can mix it in if he'd like. And I feel like his style is going to give Alex a lot of problems. I feel like he matches up well against Alex Pereira. And one thing I want him to do more in the second fight, I know he did it in the first fight. I want to see Jiří mix in the takedowns, man, because if Jiří can mix in those takedowns, everything could kind of start opening up for him on the feet. He lands the takedowns maybe, once in the first round, get some control time. Then maybe Yuri fakes the takedown and lands an uppercut. He did that on multiple occasions in the first time where he fakes for the takedown, he bites, Alex bites on the feint, and then Yuri comes up with the uppercut. Yuri landed that twice, so I feel like if Yuri can establish control time early on in this fight, it'll allow him to, find more openings throughout the fight. It'll allow him to work his feints more, and then Alex will eventually bite on more feints, which will help Yuri land more on the feet. If Yuri uses all of his attacks, he throws the 1-2, he throws those body kicks, he throws the leg kicks, maybe he does a few spinning attacks, it'll help him open up the fight and help him land more on Alex Pereira. If he gets Alex to, think a little bit more, it'll help create openings. But the main reason I see Jiří Procházka getting it done in this fight is because his forward pressure is so good. And Alex Pereira has shown throughout his time in the UFC that he is susceptible to forward pressure, and he's not as good on the back foot. He's not as good on the back foot, and he's not as good when his back is up against the cage. And Yuri is a master of cutting the cage down, getting you up against the cage, and eventually finding the KO. I want to look back to that Alex Pereira versus Israel Adesanya fights, the two of them. Israel Adesanya was able to land that 1-2 on so many occasions, and then we come into this Alex Pereira versus Jiří Procházka fight, and Yuri is able to land the 1-2 on multiple occasions. Alex has shown throughout his career that he is susceptible to forward pressure and to the 1-2, and Jiří Procházka has great forward pressure and has a great 1-2. So I want to see him blasting the 1-2, cutting off the octagon, make Alex fight on the back foot, and eventually fight on, or up against the cage, I should say. Also, one little thing I picked up on when rewatching Pereira versus Procházka 1 is when Alex Pereira misses his low kicks in terms of just, throwing the leg kick, maybe it misses, maybe he's a little bit out of range. Sometimes he turns his body, his feet and his legs are kind of close together, and it's almost like a lapse in concentration. And against a guy like Jiří Procházka, who is so explosive, who can do a bunch of weird fucking shit, I feel like that's a spot where Yuri can expose him. So just listen to me on this. Maybe he doesn't find the KO blow in this fight in terms of what I'm pointing out right now, but look for Alex Pereira to miss the low kick and then kind of turn his body, not really guard his chin. Maybe his legs are super close together, his footwork isn't there. Just watch out for that, because I feel like that's a spot in which Jiří Procházka can really explode and expose. You see that wordplay? I'm like fucking Jay-Z out here. Just kidding. I'm not. But I could see Jiří Procházka maybe exploding into a 1-2 there and maybe catching Alex when he has a little bit of a lapse in concentration. And I could also bring up something on Alex's side. I feel like when Yuri, he's moving. He has interesting head movement, but Yuri loves to duck his head. He loves to duck his head. And we know Alex Pereira loves to chop that lead leg. And Yuri is so heavy on that lead leg, so that low kick is going to be there for Alex Pereira. So say, first round comes along, Alex is chopping that lead leg. The second round comes around, Yuri's kind of used to those kicks going down low. Yuri's ducking, and Alex tried this in their first fight, and Yuri acknowledged it. When Yuri ducks, Alex should lift that head kick up and go to the head, and I could see that also causing a lot of damage for Yuri, because he tends to leave his hands down and fight like this. I don't know what he's doing, but when he's ducking his head, when his hands are down, Alex can find a lot of success. And if he lands a flush head kick on Jiří Procházka, it's game fucking over, man. Nobody is tanking a head kick from Alex Pereira. But the way I see Yuri winning this fight, I said it again, or I've said it before and I'll say it again, is the forward pressure, the 1-2, mix in the takedowns, throw a lot of different attacks, throw the 1-2, and he's got to get on the inside while staying safe, because The one thing Alex exposed Jiří on is when Jiří enters the pocket and when he explodes into the pocket, his right arm or his right hand sometimes tends to dip. It doesn't stay up near his chin, and Alex exposed that with that counter left hook, with that check left hook, and that eventually KO'd Jiří Procházka. So if Jiří can enter the pocket and explode defensively sound and with his hands up and by his chin, I think he finds a lot of success because Alex, as I said, is not as good on the back foot. He is not as good on the back foot. He is susceptible to the 1-2. I think his striking defense is a little bit overrated. So if Jiří could apply forward pressure, cut down the octagon, maybe he mixes in the takedowns because that'll get, it'll help him open up more shots on the feet. Maybe he could feint low. Alex bites on it, lands high. But that's where I see Jiří Procházka getting it done. Forward pressure, throws the 1-2, cuts off the octagon, and then in the KO sequence, I see Alex Pereira's back up against the cage. Jiří enters the pocket safely and then throws maybe a crazy spinning elbow and uppercut, and I see him KOing Alex Pereira out fucking cold in this fight. I think he's gonna make the right adjustments, Jiří, and I think he's gonna get it done, man. I think stylistically he matches up pretty damn well against Alex Pereira. But now, I am not discrediting Alex going into this fight. I literally picked him to KO Jiří Procházka in that first fight because I didn't think Jiří would make the necessary adjustments going into that first fight. And I was actually surprised with how much success Jiří had in that first fight. So going into this rematch, I think he's going to make the right tweaks, and I think he's ultimately going to show the stylistic advantage and KO Alex Pereira out cold. But if Alex were to win, I see him continuing to chop that lead leg. Jiří's very heavy on it, so it'll be there. Jiří's not going to be able to really check the lead leg, or check the low kick, that much in this fight. God damn. Excuse me. But also for Alex, he can't get backed up. As I've said on numerous occasions, he has to stay in that center of the octagon, stay in kickboxing range, because if this fight stays in the center of the octagon in kickboxing range, I'm taking Alex Pereira every single day. But that's just not the case. That's not what's going to happen, man. That's not what's going to happen. Jiří's going to cut off the cage. He's going to back up Alex. And for my official prediction, I am going with Jiří Procházka by third round. Brutal KO. I see it going like this. Jiří's going to back him up. He's going to cut off the cage. Maybe he throws the 1-2. It lands on Alex pretty cleanly. And then Alex is backed up against the cage. Jiří enters the pocket. He slips by the left hook and then maybe throws a crazy spinning elbow. Maybe a knee. Maybe, a right hook. Something crazy. And then he's going to brutally KO Alex Pereira. Maybe we get a few ground and pound shots, but it's going to be a brutal KO, I think. Now, I do think Alex Pereira can still get it done. He's one of the best kickboxers we've ever seen. And I think he could still catch Jiří, because if Jiří doesn't really make the necessary adjustments going into this fight, Alex is going to win, because Jiří's going to enter that pocket with that right hand down, and then Alex is going to throw that check left hook, and that'll be all she wrote. But I trust Jiří to go into this fight making the necessary adjustments and have the stylistic advantage and take advantage of that, man. Because if Jiří goes into this fight not making adjustments, he's insane in the brain. Because if you lose the first fight and go into the second one thinking the same thing is going to happen and you're going to win and it's going to be all, all dandy, you could say, you're insane. So I trust Jiří to make the adjustments. He's going to cut off the cage and he's going to brutally KO Alex Pereira in the third round. And I also want to address one thing. Follow my TikTok. All my links will be in my bio, or in the description, There's been some weird rumblings about a Johnny Ox MMA curse. I don't know where this is coming from. I said Sergey Pavlovich would brutally KO Alexander Volkov. Didn't necessarily come to fruition. So I don't really know what this curse is all about, man. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't think it's true. So just wait for this weekend and wait for Jiří Procházka to brutally KO Alex Pereira. And then we're going to get that trilogy, man. We're going to get that fucking trilogy, and I can't wait, man. In terms of stylistic matchups, two personalities in the UFC, it doesn't get much better than this. So for my official prediction, as I've said, Jiří Procházka by third round, brutal KO. Put your predictions in the comments. Let me know what you guys think of my breakdown. Did you enjoy this? Do you guys want me to see, you guys want to see me tweak anything in the videos, anything like that? Let me know in the comments. Put your official prediction in the comments. Click that subscribe button for more. I'll see you maybe tomorrow. Maybe I got a little video plan for you guys tomorrow, but we'll see. Like, subscribe. Peace out.